What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 21 in my 14th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween. And continuing along here, I decided to review another Jason movie, but this time also a Freddy movie. I'm talking about Freddy vs. Jason from the year 2003. Man, I remember when this movie came out, I was so hype. I went opening night to the drive-in and saw it. I don't even remember what it played with, but I literally was like so into this movie and happy that it came out because I had been hearing rumors about it all throughout the 90s. Like, my grandma would tell me, like, they're making a Freddy versus Jason. Like, she must have seen it on TV or something. And, like, she told me that in, like, 97 or something. So it was like, you know, it never happened. And finally it happened. So I was super hyped for this movie. I remember seeing the TV ads and it just blew my mind. So, yeah, Freddy vs. Jason. It is a story, man. Freddy vs. Jason is a movie that got teased at the end of Jason Goes to Hell in 1993, and it took 10 years for it to actually be made. There are a ton of scripts. Like, there's like 20 different scripts or something crazy to this movie. There's actually a book out there that I was listening to via audiobook that talked about each of the scripts. I never got all the way through the book. I'm still, working through it. I listen to it every now and then. A chapter or so, and just some of the versions of the movies that were pitched were, I mean, everything from like courtroom dramas to like cults, and they're all kind of stuff, man. I mean, there's so many different versions, and a lot of the versions, like some of the pieces ended up in this movie, but a lot of those versions honestly sounded kind of bad to me. So I'm actually very happy that we ended up getting this version of the movie. It is definitely not perfect, but I think that it could have been much, much worse. There's some things that I would definitely change in this movie, but I think overall they did a really good job of bringing these two characters together. So the film opens up with Freddy basically neutered. Like, he can't do anything. Nobody fears him. The fear gives him his powers, so he is unable to invade people's dreams, and when he does, he is unable to hurt them in their dreams. So him being in essentially hell or the afterlife, he must know about Jason somehow, which, if in this film other characters know about Jason, so I'm sure it's possible Freddy could know about him as well. He basically shapeshifts into Jason's mother, awakens him, tells him to go to Elm Street and, kill people. And Jason does do that, so the whole town thinks that Freddy is back, but it's actually Jason. And then at one point, Jason won't stop killing people. Freddy's about to actually get a kill, and Jason kills the person in the real world first, so it really pisses Freddy off, and that's sort of what sparks the battle between the two. Meanwhile, you have a group of teens who are living on Elm Street, one played by Monica Keenen, whose name is Laurie, I believe, which is weird, because Laurie Strode, obviously. I've always not liked that they called her Laurie. But her mother was killed years ago, and her dad pretty much raises her. She has a couple of friends. Her boyfriend, I think it might even be like, forget her, is it Will? I can't remember her boyfriend's name, but essentially he saw her mother be killed one night, and he has been in a mental hospital with his friend for the last couple years, and he is stuck up there in Weston Hills, I believe it's called. And they basically have a conspiracy going on in the town, a cover-up. Like, the town knows about Freddy, and they essentially sent everybody who knew of Freddy up to this mental hospital, but they feed them this Hypnosil stuff that will stop them from dreaming. and then the rest of the town they sort of like cover up and make sure that nobody is fearful of Freddy to create the fear again and bring Freddy back. So they've, which is insane that they would even be able to pull this off, but you know that's basically the story of how they got rid of Freddy. And now there's rumors that Freddy is back, so it starts breeding fear in the town, which has given Freddy power, and eventually the two titans clash. So that's basically the plot there. I think that it works pretty well. Like, it makes sense enough to bring the two together. This movie always has felt more like a Nightmare on Elm Street than a Friday the 13th. It feels way heavier Elm Street leaning. It is directed by Ronnie Yu, who really didn't know much about either of these film franchises. But he did direct Bride of Chucky a few years later, and you know, I think he did a pretty good job. It always kind of annoyed me that they didn't get somebody that was more invested in the series, but at the same time, he did good for especially not knowing the series. One of the huge big missteps for me is casting Ken Kersinger as Jason and not casting Kane Hodder. Like, to me, it was such a mistake, especially since Kane Hodder just played Jason 2 years earlier in Jason X. It just makes no sense. Forever, that to me is the biggest misstep. I think Ken Kersinger is fine, but he's no Kane Hodder. I think Kane Hodder fully gets the Jason character more than anybody, and I really like his portrayal of Jason in his 3 films. So yeah, I wish they would have kept Kane Hodder. It's ridiculous that they cast him due to size reasons, which is just so silly. But yeah, there's some decent kills in this one. I like the kill with the lead male's friend, who is, you know, gets his back all slashed up. Freddy's back, get it? I think that the puns and stuff from Freddy are there, but they're not. I don't think they're as bad as previous entries. Like Freddy's Dead is super silly, and this one tones that down a little bit. There is still some silliness. There's like some pinball stuff going on that's a little bit ridiculous, but overall, I think that they do a pretty good job of keeping it, you know, what we love about Freddy and some of the stuff that made him an icon with like the MTV version of Freddy. They have some of that there. I think that there's this cornfield sequence is really good. I would have loved to see more of these Freddy vs. Jason films, because that would have been just awesome to see them go at it again and again. Probably one of the biggest like head scratcher moments is the fact that this film never got a sequel, considering it made money. I think if you did this movie nowadays, it would, especially if you did like new Elm Street and a new Friday the 13th, you know, in the next couple years, and then you did another Freddy vs. Jason, I think it would do insane numbers, like way bigger than this one did. But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm a fan of this movie. I think that it's actually really good. And watching it this time, I watched it for the AMC Fear Fest that Joe Bob did, where he hosted this movie. So it was a cut version of it, but still, seeing him talk about the movie and watching it again in the first time in a while, I really do love this movie. I think that it's pretty great, despite some of its flaws. So yeah, it reminded me how much I liked it. So with that said, I will give it an 8 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.